Hey guys, it's Monday, March 7th, 2016, still the Globex session. I just want to talk about the possible setups that we're looking at and kind of show you how to kind of look for a setup prior to the market making that move. Okay, so on the short time frame on oil, we actually broke out below the low value area earlier in the Globex session, came back for a retracement. First retracement is a trade set we look for. Went down about 20 ticks, and I'll show you guys that on the Thinkorswim chart to kind of help you out visualize a little bit if you're just using candlesticks rather than Renko bars. And then on the longer time frame, the target where we want to actually get out, because there may be support. We're on the longer time frame. As you can see, there's developing value area that it hit and stopped the market there, and then turned around and moved up. Now it's kind of moving back down, but what happens is we're now inside of profile, and we don't want to trade that, right? We want to either see if the market is moving up because it's strong and people are buying, or the market's weak and it's selling off. And the way to determine that is to look at where price is in reference to the market profile levels. If it's breaking above, we're looking to buy, and if we're below, we're looking to sell. Okay, and this is just one of the techniques that we can look at using market profile. So let me kind of scrunch the chart up a little bit. I went ahead and put in a little box in the value area. As you can see, high, low on the Thinkorswim chart, broke below it, came back up, retested, and then moved down for a 20 tick move there. And then once it found some support here from the end of Friday, it started to move back up, and now came back inside profile. Now, although it's breaking below here, the profile levels have changed, right? You know, as it's moving down or as it's moving back up, these profile levels start moving too. So even though we're below the profile level that we broke earlier, it came back inside of it. So now we have a new profile level, which is down here. And basically, you know, if you want to just think about it as, all right, where's the low or high of the day, you gotta look at the low here, and see a break below here. So right now the 36.29 on the Thinkorswim chart is where you want to look for. And then if you want to look for a buy, you want to get this thing to break 36.66, right? So those are the things kind of look for. The indicator here has its own set or number, you know, 36.60, about 6 cents off from what you see on Thinkorswim. And then the 36.36, which is a few ticks away from there too. So either way, what we need to see is a break. We want to see the momentum push either. Right now it's all buyers, right? Because you see there's a blue here. This is still all blue, meaning we're looking to buy, we're not looking to sell. But once it breaks below here, probably that 36.32 looks like, and then the 36.26, which is actually the profile level here, or was somewhere around here, right? So once it breaks below here, then we can look to sell if it comes back up and retests. Okay, so that's basically what we're looking for, guys, before it happens. I wanted to kind of go over that, review it, and show you guys how you can look at the market. And these are nice days, you know, when it's pretty clear that there's been kind of a sideways movement, and you already have a high here. It's now below it, but if the market turns around, pretty easy reference point, right? All I need to do is break above here, and then I'll change my bias to the bullish side and look for the market to come back down so I can buy and watch for it to continue moving up. Okay, so with that said, let me go ahead and pause the video, and I'll be back if there's another setup, guys. Again, like I said, it's got to break down here or break above here. We're relatively still pretty neutral, moving sideways, bias slightly more to the downside, but we're gonna have to see this price really push down and break these levels below here. Alright guys, so that's how we do it. Let me go ahead and pause the video, and I'll be back once we get a setup. Right, talk to you guys in a second. Hey guys, I'm back. It's been a few hours now actually since I paused the video, but you can see that price just kind of went sideways again, and like you showed in my other indicator here, and it just bounced in between, right? So now we finally got a firm break away, and looks like to the downside. So now we're looking for this thing. Now that it did finally break down below, to push down, pretty solid. Come back up to the 36.31 or 33 area, and then what we're going to look for is that retracement to sell off on. So it could push down more, it could be pulling up right now, but either way, that's what we're going to look for our first trade. And let's see what happens. Alright guys, go ahead and pause the video, and once I'm in the trade I will restart it and we can go from there. Alright guys, I'm back. Looks like it's starting to retrace back into the 31 level. We had one retracement and moved down, but then just pushed right back through that stop. Seeing a little bit of indecision in this price zone right here, but you can kind of take the lows here and the lows here. We just hit that right there, so I'm gonna go ahead and make an entry. Got a little bit late while I'm commenting here, so would like to see it come up a little bit higher, but we were just about 3 ticks away from that. So in anticipation of that, kind of wish I would have just got in right there, but this really needs to break here. Seems like there's a little bit of support. As you can see, it bounced, try to push down, bounced, try to push down, and is coming back up again. So you can kind of see it here in the market delta too. There's a lot of indecision on both sides. So, but we'll go ahead and respect this stop. Both on the longer time frame and the short time frame, you can see that there is a bias to the sell side. We broke low value on both of these. You can see it here on the Thinkorswim as well, right? Maybe you are looking for a deeper retracement, or this thing could just push off to the other side. So okay, all right, got stopped out of that, but if this thing moves down, we'll go ahead and sell and try one more time. And I like the confluence here, hit the 31. Wish, sometimes you kind of regret getting in too late, which I did. If I got in a little bit earlier, I probably wouldn't be stopped out actually. But now I have confluence on both sides, and if this thing starts to move down again and I see the selling come in, which you are kind of starting to see, would like to see like a nice number, like a negative 200 or something on the market delta. And if I see that, make that trade, and hopefully this thing will actually move. Okay, you know what, I'll go ahead and pause the video, and then we'll come back once I actually get into the entry. But again, 36.31 was a setup. It did kind of go up there. We just need to see market delta push and see sellers really come back into the market, and once we do, should have enough room for our stop for this time, for it not to hit, this thing to break the 36.11 looks like, right? Okay, so hold off for a second and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. I saw another negative 200 sell on the market profile here. and took that trade. So we'll see what happens. Again, once again, the stop should give us more than enough room at this point, and if it stops us out, then just gotta take a step back and see exactly what's going on in the market, because this should be our resistance now. The support broke. It's already kind of retraced more than enough. So I'm going to pause the video. If I'm near the stop, I'll start it back up again. And if it starts to move down in the direction, we will refocus and look for our targets to exit this trade. Probably at least in the initial one down here, 35.9. Just top of this zone here where they kind of consolidated, oil consolidated at the end of the day on Friday, and then start to push up. So alright guys, let me go ahead and pause the video. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Looks like that low value area in the 31 came up as high as, let's see, 32. Where is that? 33. Yeah, it came up as high as 33. So that low value area is holding. Would like to see this thing kind of push down. We're seeing, like I said, on both sides, that retracement in that area. That was very similar. I got in another contract actually at the top just to kind of average down a little bit. Now typically you don't want to do that when you're on a losing position, but I didn't consider that losing. I just got in a little bit later, and my thesis that this would hold was the main reason why I sold again up at the top a little bit. And I mean, I had my stops already in place, so, and at this point we really need to see this thing push below here at the 36.10. I think for some reason there's some support there, and if it doesn't, it comes back, could bite me. But what I might do right now is go ahead and move. Actually, it's too late now, but I was gonna move one of my orders down to break even to get me out. So I might go back up. I might just do this dance for a little while before it really pushes down. Unless it just shoots right through here and just goes to the other side, which is not what I want. So okay, we'll see if this thing holds again. Go ahead and pause the video and we'll be back in just 1 second. Alright guys, that trade did not work out for us on many levels, and as I started to see this kind of start to skew on the upside, I did see this thing kind of come back into profile, a shift in momentum to the upside, came back down to the lower profile area, and I did make a buy to see if it'll make it all the way up to the high value area here. So it just touched. I think I missed it by like a tick to get that exit on that first contract there. What would be great is, all these sellers being on the wrong side and this thing kind of push right through this high value area up here. But we've been kind of doing a little, high value, low value dance all day long, so it might just do that again, come all the way back down to low value and eventually break. But there was a lot of momentum right now to the upside, so we'll see. Hold the profit here. I'm at break even plus a few ticks, so we'll see what happens here. And then once we get a breakout, we are still in a sideways movement, so if it breaks up to the top, through there, we'll go with that bias. If it comes back down, we'll have to look for that entry again. So see what happens, guys. Alright, I'm back. It finally broke out. Let's see, go to CL real quick. Took out one of my targets at the high value area in the red, and that's what we're talking about here. So if this thing does break above here, though, we're gonna see some pretty heavy movement to the upside. Okay, so what we are gonna need this thing to break all the way up here and then come back down, and that's a possibility with all this movement here, right? We got a lot of sellers skewing, trying to push this thing down, and then now just completely reversed, and there seems to be a lot of momentum right now, so there may be a lot of buy stops here from the sellers that get stopped, and this thing push up to the upside, and then we could see look for a retracement. So right now the bias is to buy. That was a good call down here to get in, just based on the erratic movements. It just didn't look right, you know, like you never see something like that unless there's a whole lot of indecision, and the sellers were just getting less and less momentum there, so that's not what we want to see. We go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and exit this position, although it's because we're right at that high value area. I would want this thing to come back in. What I want to see this thing do was push up pretty high and then kind of come back down into that area. So I'm going to close this out, and then we'll see if this thing can push all the way up, because I don't want this to come all the way back down and then we have to mess around with this, you know, this erratic behavior, just sideways moving again, because it's going to have to take a pretty hard move to the upside or downside for this thing to finally have a true bias. But again, the bias right now is to the upside, so, and it's working out so far, so we'll see this thing move, and hopefully we can see a stronger break and then a retracement. If this area holds, it could turn back around and just come back into this area again, so nothing to do at that point. So we're gonna pause the video and let's see if we got one more trade in today. Alright guys, back. So this is kind of basically what I was talking about, right? It shot right through. That's what we wanted to see. So hopefully now we can buy, have a pretty solid buy once this kind of come back down and retraces. But you see what happens, right? Finally had a break out of this area. Sellers came down, right? Maintained that position to the downside every time it came back up into this area, and then failed to hold any momentum as it came back up to retrace. When we're trying to sell off down here at the low value area, came back inside profile, right? We had this retracement all the way back to the top of that profile at the high value area, and then once it broke out, like I said, all these sellers were going to get stopped out. So we got that push up, and hopefully we can see this thing come back down a little bit, so we can get an entry off of this move. So again, just walking you guys through, walking myself through as I make these videos. This one a little bit longer, but we had no clean break today, you know. But if this thing comes back down to that high value area, we see that retracement in the Fibonacci dot on this indicator here. We'll make that trade and we should be able to take off. Let's see how much room we have actually to the upside. So hourly chart. Yeah, we're right at that inflection point. We're right at that resistance, right? So there's a potential for this thing, if it breaks, to really go. So today could be a pretty crazy day. It might not even turn back down. It might just go straight through if there's really momentum. If there's a lot of buyers right now on this thing. As you can see here, there was a little bit of resistance as it popped in this area once and came down into this area back in January and failed to hold and then plummeted all the way down into the 20s. So right in the 30 area. Next area will be in the 40s right here. So if this thing breaks through here, we could see this thing move up into the $40 range pretty quickly. There's not a whole lot of resistance up until the 39, 40 area. So just something to think about, guys, and we will see what happens. Hopefully we do get an entry though. So we just need this thing to come back down and right into that high value area. Alright, go ahead and pause the video, and once I'm in, we'll restart it and see what happens, guys. Alright, I am back. Hit that high value area that we talked about, and we are seeing some bounce. So we'll hold this stop. It is the first retracement after this breakout to the upside. And we should see some momentum. If we don't, then it fails, then it could come down pretty quickly. So just something to think about there. Just because we had this battle back and forth, right? And now buyers kind of pushed above where sellers initiated the market and had highs or resistance. So if buyers are really gonna push this higher from here, it should hold, because that resistance was broken and now should be our support. So we'll see how that works out for us, and hopefully it doesn't take too long. Pause the video and we'll see what happens. Guys, I'm back. It moved up and found some resistance again right here at the top. We all know, because when I pulled out the chart on the 1 hour, you saw that resistance area was pretty valid. So anyway, it's moved up enough. I think I can move it up to break even +1, and we really want to see this thing take off. So we want to move this a little bit higher. We'll look at some other profits. So we're looking at the where exactly what our next area would be. We had a peak at the 36.97 here, or let's see, 36.94. So we'd have to really push beyond that 94 level right now, and then we could see maybe move up into the $38. Could move another 100 ticks just off of this move itself. So what I will do, just move had a high of 88. Okay, so we just saw that 97, 90 level. Go ahead and add, and then pull up some other targets, higher targets. Just gotta really see that momentum kind of kick in. A lot of buyers, sell stops. Just gotta be patient and hold. It's held this area right here. Right. Let's see if we can hold this area right here. Bring it down to 1 minute. You guys can see a little bit better, but right. Peaked over here earlier, came back down for that retracement when we bought in down here in the 60s, broke above here, and now we're kind of holding right at that high that we just broke. Right. So we don't want to see this thing retrace all the way back down. If anything, we can move from this retracement from the start of this move down to 50 or 60%. But we come all the way back down into our entry, which was at 36.64, break even. I would like to see this thing keep moving up, so we'll see what happens. And if it doesn't break today and comes back down, and it could be a break it later in the afternoon or maybe even tomorrow, depending on what the price action shows, if it holds this level right up here. Right? So see what happens. But again, basic idea was break out of a profile. Tried to a couple times the downside, didn't work out, so we said, hey, if this thing breaks on the upside, we'll look for that entry, and we did. We just need this thing to hold. So alright, let me go ahead and pause the video and we'll see what happens. Alright guys, we were patient and they come back up into the 90s like we were hoping for. Saw that peak a while back, right? And high of 94, just broke right above that actually, almost in the 37s. So let's see. So really that should have been our first target target. Let me go ahead and bring one of those down. Let's see. Let's keep moving. But this thing has a lot of legs to the upside. So I took one off the table, one left over, which is above break even. And we'll see what happens. Not a whole lot of resistance up from here, so let that thing just kind of go. See how many ticks we can get. Alright, let me pause the video and I'll be right back. Hey guys, I just want to show you real quick on the CL like what we talked about. Once we got that breakout on 15 minute right now, but on that 5 minute, look at that beautiful breakout, retracement to the top of that profile, and then it just shot up from there. And like I said, this thing can really gain some momentum here. So we're seeing that right now. If I pull out, into 1 hour. Alright, so we just broke above this highs here, So we had some um, resistance at 37.28 around here. Okay. Let's just check where we're at right now. 37.20s, but it shot up actually right to 37.46. Let's see if this thing can continue to move up beyond there. Yeah, really not a whole lot of there's no resistance that I can see. It just broke through here pretty hard, so we could see some potential, like I said, 100 tick move all the way up to the 38. So we'll see what happens. Looks like it's turning over right now. That was a nice spike up, and then a little bit of sell off. So we'll go ahead and hold these positions and see how long this thing can go. But I still see that there's a lot of potential here. So, and on the long time frame, we're seeing a retracement here. We'll look at the 37 as kind of like the line in the sand, and hopefully this thing can continue to push up. All right. That's it. Let me go ahead and pause it one more time, and we'll do a quick review at the end. All right. Hey guys, it's